All right, so we go 38 more miles on 29 until we
How
turn.
about 29 more miles on 38?
No.
We logged tens of thousands of miles together.
We went out on the road for 5 days and I gained 8 pounds one time. People often ask, what's the biggest story you've ever done? And it's kind of a flip answer, but to some extent it's true. I say the next one. Every way you can imagine, we get story ideas. People call, people write. We see stuff when we're out. When we go out on a little road trip, we may go for 3 stories and we come back with 8.
I always thought that if I could get one image that told a story over 100 feet of film or whatever, video now, that it was just so much more powerful. We did our 58 series and we went to the bustling metropolis of Dot and found out that the sign for leaving Dot is on the same post as entering Dot. So I had to think about that one a little bit. Sometimes you have to make chicken salad out of chicken feet.
But we're just basically a couple of clowns on the loose, is what it amounts to.
Out on the back roads again, just out on the back roads again, just a rolling along and singing a song, out on the back roads again.
Are we on the most wanted list in this county?
I'm sure we are. All I wanted to do growing up was to be a sportscaster. I started as a sports writer in Charlottesville with the Daily Progress, worked there a couple of years. Then I went and worked for United Press International, covering sports to begin with, and then everything under the sun. So I started doing news, and I'd never done news at all, and found that that was okay. I enjoyed that. But then the features seemed to combine news plus some of the sports stuff, because you're writing real personality pieces a lot of times. And so I really sort of clicked with feature writing, and I've just always enjoyed that. I worked in Richmond and Orlando and Atlanta, and then came back home to Richmond in 1988 to work for the Richmond News Leader.
And when I got to college, I had been trained in motion picture as well as still photography. I had a friend who worked at Channel 12, and he called up and he said, "Got a job for you." I was hired as film editor, and then I'd occasionally work TV camera, studio camera, on Sailor Bob's show, and we had a big time with that. And then I became the film director, and also ran the lab there and shot still photography.
We both started at the newspaper in the same year.
Yeah.
And this is you in that year.
Yeah.
1968, right?
Yeah.
You don't have some of the hair.
I don't have that camera, but I've got the same lens.
There you go. I was born in the slightly before that, but
You were hatched.
yeah, I was hatched. And then in '68, I started the paper as a paper boy. So we started the same year.
Yeah, right.
So we never get lost, right?
No, yeah. And we always have a map.
I think it's upside down, isn't it?
No, it's up. It's right side up. I usually nap while I'm driving. We found that we both like the Eagles, and we play a lot of Eagles.
One of the reasons we get along so well is we share the same ambition, which is to stay out of the office as much as possible.
And then we just talk about stuff, about people, about where we're going.
We go right, and then we go 4 miles, and we go right, then we go right, then we go left, then we go right, then we go right. And then if we have any luck, we'll be there.
Maybe. Where's the next pie place? Plus, we never talk about politics or religion.
Yeah, but here's the secret of that I tell people. I'm deaf in one ear, so I don't hear half of what he says, and I ignore the rest. Of all the people we've interviewed over the years, Mark Klein is in a class of his own. Part artist, part entertainer, and all showman. Klein is a character of the first order. He's the mastermind behind Foamhenge, the beaded foam version of Stonehenge. Dinosaur Kingdom 2, a theme park dedicated to telling the untold story of the role dinosaurs played in the Civil War. Really. And an array of elaborate April Fool's jokes, and numerous other goofy misadventures. Buckle up. Here we go.
Are we getting close?
Getting close.
Are we there yet?
How are you, Mark?
So far, so good.
You want to show us around some of these?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
The boneyard.
yeah, well, you know, you ever been in the back part of a theme park, an amusement park? I mean, it's all pretty up front, but this is what it really looks like. You know, when you go in the back there, this is behind the curtain. This is backstage here, and these are several of my props. A lot of these pieces are pieces that I made years ago that need some tender loving care. They need some refurbishing. A lot of these pieces I rent, like that big skull over there. Remember that April Fool's joke I did a few years ago at Lake Robertson?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is part of it. I had the giant octopus coming out of the lake. Look at here. How's that? Okay. How's that? Okay. All right. Instagram. Here we go.
We'll just step aside. You can take it from here.
Well, these are just some of my fun props that I keep around here that I take out during different occasions. You know, I thought I could make several of these for different restaurants, you know, and you know, people needed to know where the Johnny House was or the restroom. You know, here's Johnny. You know, nobody wanted these. You know, I said, you know, well, we could put it on the outside of the door. Well, we need the female counterpart. And I said, why not Queen Latrina? This is Franken Chicken. Franken Chicken, he is, well, let's just say he came from a bad egg. He gets rented out every Halloween too. There's no shortage of people wanting Franken Chicken for their attraction. Over here, this one is my most asinine sculpture. You know, you play it out. And over here, just at the end of the day, if I feel like I haven't used up enough energy, I will get on the Kickus exercise equipment and just go at it. And ow, ooh, and it really really does hurt too. The faster I go, oh yeah. I also call it the Dignity Eliminator. Anybody want to try that? This is a trick guillotine. Anybody want to put their head in this?
Bill?
Why did I come to mind first?
Let's see here. I haven't worked it in years. I'm not even sure it's still. Okay, let's see. Where this goes around here? I think. Okay. Let's make sure this still works. There was something over here. There we go.
All right. The things I do for you guys.
I know. This is.
All right.
Let it go down
Okay, you're gonna bring it down.
like that,
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
and that goes like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then let this thing down.
Yeah.
I don't think that's okay.
You gotta count to three. Give me three.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, God.
Oh man!
I can't believe I did that.
Hey, be careful with it, man. You wash your hands the next time, dude. Hey, it worked. Woo! All right.
Thank goodness.
I was nervous.
You were nervous. I guess you were.
Oh God. You know, I'm gonna have to bring this out of retirement.
Wow.
Bill, you do it now.
Yeah, your turn. Your turn. All right, let's go over here and I'll show you what's going on in the studio over here. This guy, he will be 20 feet tall when he's finished. And what I do is to bolt him together. See, he's in two sections. See, he's got the waist slides down into the pants. See, so what I'll do is we bolt this from out here, but one of us has got to climb up into the feet. So, to do this.
Which one of us?
Well, who's the skinniest.
Oh,
It's usually me. It's usually me. But anyway, see, it's made, you know, just enough to where you can climb up in here. So then I go in with my tools and bolt it and come back out.
you never got stuck in there, have you?
I never have. Now this is where I sort of, you know, come up here to kind of get away from it all, and I have my pals here, and I'll sit right over here and do all the sketch work, design work. This is where it all kind of happens, right here. And I'm working on several new comics, you know, I got my comic books that I sell.
How many hours do you have in your day?
I'm trying to work out about 26 or 27. That's difficult to do. I'm trying to really work on this.
Can you give us 20 or 30 seconds of Barney Fife?
All right, now to be the deputy sheriff, you gotta do a little bit of sniffing, and you gotta tuck your hair up under your hat, and yeah, you know, kind of check your equipment every now and again. Now back in the black and white days, we didn't have any cell phones. We had cell numbers. We had cell number 1 and cell number 2. You know Otis, don't you? Probably hung out with him several times. It's amazing what you can do with a hat.
Yeah. This is one of our favorite spots, Burke's Garden, which is up in Hazel County. And it's, the nickname is God's thumbprint because from the air, it looks like a big thumbprint, just a valley surrounded by, ringed by mountains, because the mountain collapsed on itself. And back even before I was born. And it created this fertile valley. It's about, 3 by 6. And it's basically one way in it. And this guy was raising alpacas up there. And his 2 guard dogs were really nice, but I wouldn't want to try to grab one of those alpacas and make off with it.
No, I don't think so. So in Burke's Garden, so there's one little road in, little squiggly road that comes over the mountain from the town of Tazewell.
Yeah.
You go up the mountain, down the mountain. You come down this beautiful valley, and one of the first things you see when you get into the valley are these signposts that tell you where everybody lives in the valley.
Yeah, and how far?
And how far it is to their house. There are no secrets in Burke's Garden.
No, well, not many.
Not many.
And I mean, it's a great place to visit, but if you go there, make sure you've got gas in your car, something to eat, a place to stay the night, because you can't get any of those in the garden.
No. One of our first trips there, we went to the old post office.
Yeah.
And met the postmaster. And she, you know, lived in Burke's Garden, grew up in Burke's Garden, told us all about Burke's Garden. She was great, and she got so excited. She took us in. When she was telling us about Burke's Garden, I think there were about 300 people that lived there, maybe fewer than that.
Yeah.
But she took us in. She said, I want to show you something. She said, I want to show you our phone book. And there it is.
One page.
One page with both sides. So you go to Burke's Garden, and you got this kind of wide open spaces.
Yeah,
you got cattle.
What you expect, pasture land and cattle, some of which appeared to have gone through a hole in the fence somewhere.
Yeah, kind of have the right of way.
Yeah,
Burke's Garden.
right.
Well, we also found a herd of camels.
Yeah.
Southwest Virginia, a herd of Bactrian, those are the 2-hump camels.
Yeah, yeah.
And they were very curious.
And yeah, and it was just incredible seeing them. And then we ran into the owner, retired
Physician.
Physician.
Worked in the emergency room. Bill
emergency room
Jerkowski.
physician. Yeah, yeah. And he just liked camels, and he bought this big farm in Burke's Garden, and just decided to raise camels. And now he's got the biggest herd in North America.
Because they're mostly in Asia.
Yeah.
But he's got them there.
And they seem to thrive in that environment. I guess because it's, they have pretty harsh winters up there.
The weather suits them.
Yeah.
And they're well taken care of there.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we went back to see him a second time, and he was very excited to see us because he was in our first book.
Right.
His
yeah,
camels were in
yeah,
our first book.
Yeah.
So we went back to see him, and he insisted that one of his camels, Gobi, That's Gobi.
Yeah.
That Gobi give us a ride. And so here's you riding Gobi.
And you can tell how big he is. I mean, I was way up there, and I was trying to shoot video with that camera I'm holding up, and it just went totally useless. You know.
We seem to do a lot of animal stories
Yeah.
over the years.
Well, we like animals.
We like animals.
We eat them.
Some of you do. And not only did we lose the stripes, I think the road got narrower too.
Yeah. It's going to end up like a pig track.
Look at that. That house driveway is wider than this road.
It is, and better maintained.
We like going to doing stories in places that have interesting names.
Yeah. Valentine's, Virginia, which is in the south side part of the state.
Brunswick County.
Brunswick County, known for stew. But the postmistress, the lady in green there, around Valentine's Day, before Valentine's Day, every year, people mail stuff to her with postage on it. But she hand stamps Valentine's, Virginia. So your favorite Valentine gets a Valentine from Valentine's, Virginia. And that's the little post office / general store.
Store closed, but the post office goes on in a little corner of the store.
Yeah.
And the day we were there, a group of school kids came in to mail their Valentine's cards.
Yeah.
And you got them right there at the counter. We've also been to Moon, Virginia,
Yeah.
over in Matthews County.
Yeah.
Matthews has a number of tiny little post offices,
Yeah.
like Onemo, which if you look at it another way,
One mo.
One mo. One mo post office. We've also been to Frog Level.
Yep.
Both of them.
Both of them. This one is in Caroline County, and they have a big festival up there Saturday. They bring the fire truck out of the firehouse back there, and just have a big time.
And then the other Frog Level we went to was in Tazewell County.
Yeah.
We were lost one Saturday afternoon.
We stumbled onto that one.
The Frog Level service station, and the first thing we noticed about the Frog Level service station was they didn't have any gas pumps.
No.
So we went in, and we were greeted by Mr. Bowling, who was a proprietor, and I said, "What's in Frog Level?" And he said, "You're looking at it."
And we look, and here they had two guys sitting at the bar, drinking beer and watching a college football game.
A bar,
Yeah, and
a service station.
and then they had these T-shirts and hats, Frog Level Yacht Club.
He said that's what the group that came in every morning to drink coffee and solve the world's problems called themselves the Frog Level Yacht Club. And I said, "Yacht Club? Y'all don't have any boats down here." And he said, "That's all right. We don't have any water either." But this was the sort of place that had Prince Albert in a can.
Yep, absolutely.
Had
The
frog
bikini-clad frog in the window, frog leap wine, and that's pretty good view there.
Well, this is the place.
That's what it looks like.
But this is not in its original location, because what happened was Mr. Bowling passed away, and I think the plan was to tear down
Demolish it.
Demolish it. But it was such a landmark in Tazewell County that some people got together, raised a little money, and they picked the whole building up, put it on the back of a truck, and moved it a couple miles down to the historic Crab Orchard Museum,
Which is right on
460.
60.
And that's where it lives now.
Easy to find.
It's part of the museum.
Yeah.
And they didn't, Charlotte Whitted, who's standing at the counter there at the bar, she's the executive director of the museum, she said they didn't even take anything off the shelves. They just moved it as
And
is.
the plane still flew.
The Budweiser airplane still lives. So since we went to Dot, and that was in our first book, for our second book, we decided we would go to Spec.
A couple of my friends, one of them is a judge down there, and the other one is a legislator. And they said, "Well, we saw Dot in your first book, and you got to come to Spec." And he explained what it was. It's just kind of a wide place in the road.
Railroad stop.
Yeah.
Years ago, anyway.
And I said, "Well, is there a sign down there?" They kind of looked at each other and said, not yet. So we went down, and I swear to God, the paint was still wet on that sign.
Yeah, that piece of wood at the post is a real fresh piece of wood too, I think.
So Bill decided he would see if there were any trains coming on the track, and he put the wrong ear down.
Couldn't really hear it real good.
Couldn't hear it,
Yeah.
but you heard it then.
We found a nice little niche writing stories along the back roads of Virginia. But the truth is, we don't have to go far to find a good story or good food. Richmond is a city that's known for its festivals. One that we weren't familiar with was the Armenian Food Festival at St. James Armenian Church in Richmond's West End. Turns out it's one of the oldest festivals in Richmond. It also turns out it has some really good food. We heard they're making desserts today. So here we are. So you've been involved in this from the beginning. This is 60th year, right?
Right, since 1958. A group of ladies from the Ladies Guild here in church decided to have a festival basically for the Armenian community. And after 2 or 3 years, they told their neighbors and their friends, and we started getting more and more customers coming in. And about 5 years later, I noticed that we had a line going out the door and onto the parking lot. And that's when I decided that, well, we ought to start advertising and get more people out here. We just decided to make trays of pastries and send them to all the radio and TV stations. So they can mention us on their get some free publicity, mention us on the 6 o'clock, 11 o'clock news.
Free food is good.
Yeah, and it really helped. And it started us off, and then after that we started running ads. And then about 14 years ago, the younger generation wanted to go outdoors and make it a very large festival. And they finally convinced me to go ahead, and I said, okay, let's try it. And it was a hit from the beginning. I mean, we took up entire parking area, but I don't know where the people found parking spaces, but they all came. And we've built it up to a point where right now that we feed close to 8,000 to 10,000 people in a 3-day period. And what's good about our operation is that all of our foods are prepared like restaurants. We are cooking while you're coming in. We don't pre-cook it a day or two ahead of time. Of course, the desserts are made earlier, but all the kebabs and all the rice pilaf and the string beans and the salads are made as the people are walking in.
I mean, this is a real production. How many people do you have involved in this?
We have roughly about 75 people working.
So the entire membership of the church is...
Yes, but most of the work is done before the 3 days. Everybody thinks the work is done the three days that we're operating.
Yeah.
But like these ladies work, they start months ahead of time preparing the pastries and what have you. And they actually come once a week, every week for probably 6 months.
This is a production. What's it like to be involved in this?
It's challenging, and it's something I look forward to. It's kind of different every year. Whenever you open the doors, you're not sure how many people you're going to get, particularly when you only do it once a year. And of course, we all pray for good weather.
And what do you all hope to accomplish with the festival? You raise a lot of money, and what does that go for?
Well, it helps. It's a big part of our budget, since we only have, right now, about 70 members. So we need all the help we can get. We contribute to the orphanages in Armenia.
What has been your role in the festival since the beginning? You were in the restaurant business, so that's what got you pulled into this, right?
Actually, the women did all the work at that time, but I was there sort of helping them do whatever was necessary. And then within 5 years, I became the co-chairman or chairman for about 45 years afterwards. And now the younger generation, I say the younger generation, they're about 60, 70 years old.
It's younger to you.
Oh yeah, they're my children's age.
In February, you turned what?
92.
What do you think the secret to your longevity has been?
First of all, have a positive attitude and take care of yourself. Eat well. I tell you, once you taste Armenian food, you're going to want to come back for more.
we were down in Lee County, and we were driving through Jonesville. I saw this guy washing his car, wasn't he? And so pulled over, and it was around lunchtime. I said, "Any good place to eat around here?" What did he say?
Oh, you don't want to eat around here.
So he recommended this place in Pennington Gap called Rooster's Pub. So we went over there, ordered, sat down, and I turned around, and the light coming through the window on this girl who looked like she was about 13, but she was pouring beer. I mean, I just had to take the picture, and then I went over and started talking to her. And I explained who we were and what we were doing. And she said, "Oh, I thought you were taking my picture because I'm the quarterback of the football team." I'm like, "High school?" She said, "No, we have a women's football league down here. I'm the quarterback." She had 2 kids. She's 23 years old, 2 kids, quarterback of this full contact football team down there. And they play, teams from Tennessee and Kentucky. And so we went back and photographed a game. The team gathered for a team picture, including the star running back with the football there, who didn't play that night because she had a date for the prom.
And they told us when we got there, we're going to get killed tonight because our best player can't play.
Yeah, and sure enough, what was it, 40-0 or something? I mean, it was.
But that was a nice picture.
It was.
We'll come back to that picture.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I mean, these are some of the women, and some of them were school teachers or principals or, female state troopers. I mean, and it was rough. And that girl was probably 6'4". And people bring their families to watch the games. But
it was a brutal game.
Oh yeah.
The Predators. They were the Lee County Predators.
Yeah. Well, they got predated
that
upon.
day. Yeah. It ended up being the final score was 40-0.
Yeah. This is third quarter.
Yeah.
You can tell they're not doing very well.
Coach still trying to exhort them, but they got beat pretty bad.
They got creamed.
But as they do every game, after the game, they invited us back to Rooster's Pub where we'd had lunch that day for their post-game party. And we went to the party, and it was just the most upbeat.
They had a big time.
Best time.
Yeah.
And I asked one of the players after the game, I said, what would this be like if y'all had won? And she said, just like this.
Just pretty much the same.
So here's that picture again. We went, this was in 2003, and we went back down there about 10 years later when we were doing a book signing or something.
Yeah, I had our first book published, and this picture was in it. And a lady was looking at, and she looked at that image, and she said, "Ah, I know that girl. She went to the prom with my son that night." And really? And she's a doctor now. Really? Where? Like 10 miles from here. She called her. We went over. And I mean, it was like, and we had talked to her maybe 5 minutes, 10 years before, and she welcomed us like we were home folk and just invited us in, showed us around, and I mean, it was great. That's just the folks like that you run into just makes it all worthwhile.
We have a lot of favorite places on the road, but we kind of have a special place in our heart for the Hillsville Diner because Hillsville is sort of in the middle. We kept passing through there when we were doing different stories, and so we got to know Mac McPeak, who's the only short order cook I know who works in a sweater vest at the grill, you know, and Mac's such a great guy, and we really enjoyed going into the diner.
Cooks like 15 pounds of bacon every day.
Something like that. We've done a number of stories over the years on county fairs around the state.
Yeah.
And we asked a few people involved with county fairs for, you know, what's a particularly pretty one? And I think everybody directed us to Russell County.
Russell County Fair. And so we're on the ground, we're in the fair, and I'm thinking, I've got to get a high angle shot of this because it's in a valley. The guy overheard it, and he comes over and says, what are you looking for? And I said, I need a high angle shot. He says, well, I got my plane parked right across the road. And he said, when do you want to go up? I said, sunset. And we did, and that's one of my favorite shots.
Kind of shows how we luck into stuff, too.
Yeah. And to show you the contrast.
So you got this beautiful setting out in the country.
Right. And this is the Fairfax County Fair.
It's in a parking lot outside office buildings. Yeah. Or it was when we did this story anyway.
Yeah.
Great setting, and that's where we ran into.
The Virginia Hams, which, you know, they were singing barbershop quartet songs, just walking around amongst the fair. And, you know, quite a contrast to the kids trying to catch a goat.
So that was the sort of thing at a real country fair you'd
Turn the
have.
kids loose and let them catch an animal.
And up in Orange County was an old-time agriculture-based fair. No fancy rides. They had like
That's the only ride.
that was the ride. Yeah.
Yeah, there were
No real midway.
yeah. But
they
just
did that.
just people bringing the produce in and getting it charged. I mean, it's just great stuff.
I love this one, the Jack Russell races at the Orange County Fair, where you had two dogs.
Two dogs who were intent on racing.
Well, the two of them going in the right direction,
Yeah.
two going in the wrong direction, and one going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I didn't bet on that one.
You know, this is sort of a hybrid man-chicken or whatever. He put on a Wild West show there. And, you know, kids with the, you know, dressed in period costumes. And the folks would just let the kids run. I mean, they'd bring the animals there for judging, and the kids could just run around, and it was great.
And you had stuff like Miss Orange County in the hay bale throwing contest.
Trying to fling a hay bale. Yeah. And just kids showing off their goats.
We were walking through the 4-H tent in the Orange County Fair, and he spotted Bob's camera, and he said, "Would you take a picture of my pig and me?" And you said, "Sure, why don't you get in there with her?"
Yeah.
So he climbed in, and Bob got the camera ready, and I was talking to him, and I said, "What's your pig's name?" He said, real proudly, "Olivia." And I said, "Whoa, I don't know a lot about pigs, but that's a nice name for a pig, isn't it?" He said, "That's my girlfriend's name."
And Bill said, "Well, we don't have to put that in the paper." Oh no, she'd be proud of it.
Yeah, so we did. I don't know if they're still together or not, but
I think,
it was a nice shot.
yeah.
Now here are these are our major food groups:
Yeah.
beer,
Beer,
barbecue,
barbecue,
donuts,
donuts,
gravy,
gravy,
and pie. The major food groups.
That's right, yeah.
Handy reference guide.
That's all you need.
But pies above all else. you know, I
Pie,
think.
sometimes we go in restaurants and we order the pie first to make sure we have it,
Yeah.
because sometimes they sell out fast.
It is not true that Bob and I can sniff out a pie shop 50 miles away. However, it is true that when we heard about Woodruff's Cafe and Pie Shop in the foothills of Amherst County, we got there as soon as we could.
You gotta want to get to this place.
Yeah.
You know.
Now we go a half a mile and turn right again. And then they have to blindfold you
Yeah. No problem.
so that you can't find your way out. It's just 3.5 miles, US 29 south. I'm ready for some pie now.
I'm ready for some cornbread, beans. She is gonna have it.
She said they have cornbread and beans on the menu.
Okay.
Fresh peach shakes. Now we're talking. The first time we visited, we discovered the pie was excellent and the people were even better. So we're happy to be back again to see proprietor Angela Scott and her family, and to eat more pie. So this is the 20th anniversary of the pie shop, right?
Yes,
Can you believe it's lasted that long?
absolutely not. From the beginning, no, we were so slow, and it went on for years without doing a lot of business. So yeah, that's 20 years, it's a miracle, yeah.
And how did you come to strike upon pies as your main business?
Well, so we had the little deli, and we sold sandwiches, and I did make desserts just, you know, on a daily basis, just to have something for lunch. And, you know, people enjoyed the pie. And so the pies started taking off because, you know, I guess they were good, so people started coming in asking for pie.
And then it really turned after the Southern Living piece. I mean, it was like one sentence.
We were just sitting here one day, and at that time it was just Mama and me. And this girl stopped in, and she said, "I'm Stephanie from Southern Living, and I heard you had really great pie. I'm doing an article on apple country, and I'd like to taste your apple pie." And so I told her the story of our business, how my parents ran it, and then I decided to open it, and I gave her just this long story. And so when we got the magazine, it just said best pie ever. And that was all.
But that did the trick.
That did the trick. And from that point, we got interviews from newspapers, and that was the key.
You only had 2 stoves at that time, maybe?
Actually, we had 1 at that time. I was baking out of 1 oven at that time.
So now how many stoves do you have?
Well, we have 3 stoves. I actually wasn't even making pie crust, my own pie crust at first, because I just, you know, had a little cafe, and, you know, just like everybody else, I'd made the batter from scratch, but I'd pour it into a pie crust that I bought. So at that point, I had to learn how to make a really good pie crust, and so I've been doing that ever since. Yeah, everything's made from scratch.
So your mom's the celebrity, and she's here every day. What is her role here?
Well, she actually calls herself the entertainer, and that's what she does all day long. Folks come in, she'll ask them to sit down. You know, if we're busy, she'll say, "Come sit with me, you know, and talk a little while." So she entertains, and she also is the first one here in the mornings. And she will slice apples, whatever needs to be done, fold boxes. She folds all the boxes. Really, we couldn't run this place without her.
So Ms. Woodruff, this was a store years ago, and you used to run it.
Yeah, my husband built it.
And then you worked in it.
Yeah.
And what kinds of things did you do here when you were running the store?
I would get up and come in the store because I had a filling station. I had gas, and I wanted to sell gas, so I came in here early. And I enjoyed running the store and playing for the church on Sunday.
You played the piano.
60 years I played for the church. I still play if they have a funeral or something like that.
So when you ran the store, you also made pies.
Fridays and Saturdays, a lot of fellas worked in Lynchburg, and they would drop by and buy things from me. And they loved pies, and I would bake them, put them on the counter.
You made a certain kind of pie on Saturdays, right?
Sweet potato only. That was the only kind I knew how to bake. And I had a lot of good customers. They respected me, and I got along fine for 30 years.
And she can sing.
I do a little bit, not much, but I love to sing.
And that's what's so amazing. We sing a song together. It's one of her signature songs. We're going, she started that too high, uh-oh, and she'll hit that note every time.
I am thinking today of a land far away, a home far beyond the blue. I expect to go there some happy day, and I'll search heaven for you. First I shall greet my Savior and my King, the one who brought me safe through dangers that are seen and unseen. Then I'll kneel at Jesus' feet. Praise, oh, praise His holy name. I'll search heaven for
So we heard that there was another pie shop up in Louisa, and in downtown, exciting downtown Louisa. And so we went up there, and the place's name is Floozies Pie Shop. So we go up there and we walk in, and there are a couple of ladies behind the counter, and we walk up the counter. I said, which one of y'all is Floozy? And she looked at me and said, honey, we're all Floozies. And that's the lady that said that. And the sour cherry pie, oh my God, it was good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
So we've had pie all over the state.
Yeah, this is Tazewell. And this next one, I think, yeah, that's in Rural Retreat. That's peanut butter pie.
They got a little meringue on that pie, don't they?
Oh, yeah, that's like 3 inches of meringue. And then, where do you go for cherry pie?
George Washington's house.
Yeah, Mount Vernon.
It's pretty good.
And if you want the best fried pies, apple pies in the state, go down to Mrs. Kilgore's place. Her sons, Terry and Jerry, back there. Terry's in the legislature, and Jerry was Attorney General. And Terry, every Monday, when the legislature's in session, she sends him back with cakes and cookies, and I mean, it's just.
We show up for interviews that have nothing to do with pie, and we have story subjects making pies and cakes for us.
We used to come up this way and get apples every year. Some of the orchards up there.
Did you have permission?
No. They never caught us because we usually go in at night, right after we stole corn. This is another guy that we run into. We heard about him when we were doing a 58 series. You got to meet Wayne Henderson.
Well, Wayne was his career was he was a postal carrier, had a rural route down in Grayson County. But Wayne was known for his guitar making and his guitar playing. He made these beautiful guitars. And we went to do the story on him, and he showed us the very first guitar he'd ever made. And it was made from a box of snuff or something, right?
Yeah,
that his grandmother
snuff
had ordered?
box and a 2x4.
Yeah.
And that was the first one he made. On the bed, on that quilt, that's the second one he made. So, I mean, he moved quantum leap.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And then this is one that he made just before we got there. And he had never strung it up. So he strung it up, and we heard the first notes out of that guitar.
Very nice. And now Wayne's daughter builds ukuleles and smaller guitars.
He builds the big dreadnought size, and she builds the smaller ones. And she's pretty good at it. That's the license plate.
And the day we were down to interview Wayne the first time, he was playing that afternoon at the annual Ramp Festival up the road in Grayson County. And ramps are these wild leeks, wild onions that grow in the mountains of Appalachia.
Yeah.
And so every May, when the ramps are coming in, they have a big festival. And it's an excuse to listen to music and eat good food. But they bring ramps, and ramps are part of the culture down there, and they're part of the festival, and they're part of the meal. But the thing about, and they're cooking some ramps, but the thing about the ramps, they're pretty there, but
they're pretty strong.
They're real strong. And we got out of the car, and I went, whoa, what's that smell? And so we walked over where these guys were cooking the ramps, and I said, man, how you gonna get that smell out of your clothes? And they said, oh, we're just gonna burn them. One of the great parts of this festival was the ramp eating contest.
Yeah.
Where I think they had 3 minutes to see how many ramps they could choke down, right?
And there's some of the contestants.
It was brutal.
There's a couple of
runners up,
dropouts. And here's this guy. He was giving it his all, but it just got to him. And here's the winner. He ate 50 ramps in 3 minutes. And here's his prize. He got $100.
They all got bottles of Scope to take home and help them get.
I don't think that helped much. Remember we did that drive down Route 151?
I have no recollection of that.
Yeah, I guess not. We stopped at a distillery and 3 breweries, a couple of vineyards, and 2 cideries. And still found our way back to Richmond.
A cement mixer? Yeah. Oh, no, it's a propane truck.
Oh yeah, that would be nice.
At least it would be quick.
It would be quick. Light up like a Christmas tree.
This is one of Richmond's hidden gems, the old pump house in Bird Park. Sometimes called the Castle on the James, the Gothic revival masterpiece is actually on the Canal. It was built in the 1880s and served as the city's waterworks for a number of years. It's no longer in use and has fallen into disrepair, but a group called Friends of the Pump House is in the process of raising awareness and funding to restore the place. A member of the group, Will Whiteside, is going to give us a tour today.
All right, it's a little dark, but let's go ahead and start in here. We can move on into the generator room through here. Over here was where the turbine was, and on this side housed some wires and electrical units that were used to send the power away. So this is probably the more interesting part of the building here. And this granite was actually sourced from around the river and close by. It was cut from the bedrock of the canal, which you can imagine is a pretty laborious process. And you can see how straight some of the pieces are. They're phenomenal and still holding up.
Do you know offhand how long it took to construct the original part of the building?
I don't know how long it was. I believe initiated at the beginning of the 1880s and done by 1883.
Okay. So what room is this we're looking at?
So this is the pump room. You can see where the manifold is. There were giant pump wheels that were here that generated the pumping action. Water was flowing in from these pipes right here, flowing over top of the wheels, which turned them around and pump the water.
And that came from the Canal?
Yes. Also worth noting is that the water was untreated and unfiltered when this was in use, and there was all sorts of illnesses flowing through the waters at that time.
So we'd asked if you had movies shot here over the years. Have there been some movies filmed here?
There was recently a scene shot by an AMC show called Turn. It was about the Revolutionary War, and pictured were redcoats on the upstairs balcony shooting down towards the canal with soldiers in the woods. It's pretty neat.
I mean, this looks like a movie set waiting to happen. So is this where they have the dinner or the party or whatever you're talking about?
This is where High Society of Richmond had their balls. People would come up the canal from Chaco Bottom on evenings and land up here, come up, and they have a social gathering. We'd like to bring that back. That's kind of the appeal. That's the way it was built for that, and it still serves that purpose, which is pretty neat that lasted over a century. Yeah. That could still be used for that. And for me, it's really kind of the idea that one day we can make this into something that everybody can see and use for that purpose.
Thank you for meeting us here.
This car is feeling a little funny.
It is?
Don't you feel it shimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get the jump a car.
Bet your man can tell you exactly what it is.
Probably.
Probably can't do much about it right now.
Yeah.
But
Hey, get her of the car. Move away from the car.
as far and as fast as you can.
That's right. Yeah. She's gonna blow. He's such a good writer. I wish he wasn't here. I have to say that in public, but he really is. He's one of the best, and just watching him work and watching him get the story.
I just like the way he can go in with somebody, make anybody he's photographing feel comfortable, and that's hard to do. I mean, for a writer, it's easy to sit there with a little notebook and a tape recorder and listen and take notes. He gets them to open up just by the way he treats them, and then most of the pictures are in focus too. It's just really incredible.
Focus is amazing.
this is why we work together so well, because as obnoxious as I can be sometimes, I'm really kind of shy, and I hate cold calling people. Meeting people is really hard for me. And here I'm with somebody who can get up on stage with a guitar and sing.
I just found that Lonesome Road Blues was in the public domain, the music, and I thought it fit. And so I just wrote like 3 verses of just 2 goobers out on the highway looking for pie.
I'm rolling when you're ready.
Out on the back roads again, just out on the back roads again, just a rolling along and singing a song. Out on the back roads again, rolling down a country lane, just a rolling down a country lane. He'll stop in a while and leave you with a smile. Out on the back roads again. I'll let you, they're picking. Down the road those boys do fly. Down the road those boys do fly. Just trying to find some gravy and some pie, Lord, Lord. Out on the back roads again. Take it home, Dean.
When they read and looked at one of our stories that it made them laugh, or made them think about something, or made them go wow, or something like that, got some reaction. They remember us fondly for something we presented in the paper.
Just being able to tell people stories and have an effect on their lives, and be able to record something that maybe nobody else would have, and hopefully to do it in a good manner that respects the subject.
People say, either after hearing us speak or just looking at our stuff in the paper, y'all seem to have a good time together, and it came through.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha!